In the physical attack phase, mechs engage in some kind of melee combat with each other. 7 types of physical attacks exist. They are as follows: charging, clubbing, death from above, kicking, physical weapon attack, punching, and pushing. However, a mech can only make one type of physical attack for each physical attack phase. This means that a mech cannot both, say, punch and kick in the same physical attack phase. However, if both of a mech's arms are capable of punching, that mech can choose to punch with one or both arms. Now I find that most BattleTech players use either punching or kicking most of the time. So if you only know how to punch and kick, you can get through most BattleTech games just fine. So this video covers how to punch and kick. The Thunderbolt will punch the catapult, and the catapult will kick back. Let's get to the table and roll some dice. Let's assume the catapult won initiative, and accordingly the Thunderbolt declares its attack first. The Thunderbolt will punch the catapult with only its left arm, because it's shot with its large laser located in its right arm, last weapon phase. And a mech cannot punch with an arm that fired a weapon in the weapon attack phase prior to its physical attack phase. And we can see on our minifig, there's a big old gun right there. In response, the catapult declares that it will kick the Thunderbolt. Weapon attacks operate in a similar manner to physical attacks. If you recall, weapon attacks, the mnemonic device is Gator. The G stands for gunnery skill, which we find there. However, physical attacks are not based on gunnery skill. They're based on piloting skill. Accordingly, I change the mnemonic device to Pator. The P stands for piloting skill. However, you won't see Pator in the rulebooks anywhere. That's just what I like to do, because it makes a whole lot of sense. Now let's add all these bad boys up. The Thunderbolt has a piloting skill of 5. The Thunderbolt walked because it has a white die, indicating an attack mod of 1. The Thunderbolt's target has a 1-up for its target mod. We don't have room for intervening terrain here, because the units stand adjacent to each other, so no terrain can intervene between them. However, one or both of the units could stand in terrain that provides some sort of cover. For instance, the catapult could stand in woods, in which case it would be harder for the Thunderbolt to punch the catapult. But that's not the case right now. Right now they're standing in clear terrain, so nothing for that. However, we do need to account for the physical attack modifiers table right here, and we see that punching comes with a +0. So, 0 there. And range, well, nothing to worry about. Now we math. 5, 6, 7. 7. The Thunderbolt hits on at least a 7. 4. So the Thunderbolt missed. But I want to demonstrate what happens if the Thunderbolt hits. Because if he misses, well, he misses and we move on. That's that. So we're just going to fudge that roll and say the Thunderbolt successfully hit the catapult. Now, all we have to do is track the damage. Punch damage equates to the attacker's tonnage divided by 10, rounding all fractions up. Now this is simple middle school finger math. The Thunderbolt's tonnage is 65, so we just count by tens until we get to 65. That's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and a half to get to 65. But we round the half up because it's a fraction. So we got 5, 6, 7. 7 points of damage the punch causes. Now we need to roll for location. And we do not roll on the hit location table. We turn to the punch location table right here. And the catapult stands in the Thunderbolt's front arc. So we roll on this center column. Oh, we roll 1d6, not 2 for the punch location table. 4. Right torso. So the Thunderbolt hits the catapult in the right torso for 7 damage. So just fill off 7 damage bubbles in the right torso. Like so. That's the Thunderbolt's turn. Now for the catapult. The catapult's pilot skill is 5. Its attack mod is 1 because it has a white die. Its target's mod is 1. Other. We return to the physical attack modifiers table, and we see that kicking comes with a -2. Kicks are not hard to pull off, so -2 easier than other things. Range 0, add all these up. 5, 6, 7, 5. We need a 5 to successfully kick the Thunderbolt. Ten. Success. Now, if the catapult failed the kick and missed it, then the catapult would need to make a piloting skill roll at the end of this phase. Because the piloting skill roll table says so. But that didn't happen. So now let's find out how much damage that kick caused. Kick damage equates to the attacker's tonnage divided by 5. And we round all fractions up. The catapult's tonnage is 65. And again, simple finger math. Just count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65. 13. Doing 13 points of damage to the Thunderbolt. Now, for location, we turn to the kick location table and roll 1d6. 2. That's the right leg. So the Thunderbolt takes 13 damage to its right leg. Yes, 13. Now, because the Thunderbolt received a kick, you will notice on the piloting skill roll table, there's a mech was kicked option at +0. So at the end of this phase, which we're now in, the Thunderbolt will have to make a piloting skill roll at +0. And that means the Thunderbolt must get a 5 or higher on 2d6 to stay standing. Yes, the Thunderbolt passed, so the Thunderbolt still stands. Now you'll notice that heat didn't come into play here. Heat modifiers don't affect the target numbers for successfully shooting things, and physical attacks don't generate any significant heat that we bother to record or take note of. Now, interesting things happen when the two mechs are adjacent, but on slightly different levels to each other. Naturally, if one mech is on like level 10 and the other mech's on level 0, they can't punch or kick each other. But if the catapult was on level 1, then the catapult could still kick the Thunderbolt, and the Thunderbolt could still punch back. Let's get into that now. See the catapult standing at a level 1 and the Thunderbolt standing at a level 0. Here, if the catapult were to kick the Thunderbolt, the catapult would roll on the punch location table for a kick, giving the catapult a 1 in 6 chance of kicking the Thunderbolt's head and ending him rightly. Unfortunately for the Thunderbolt can only punch the catapult on the leg location table for obvious reasons. And naturally, if we found ourselves here with the catapult on a level 2 hill, these mechs could neither punch nor kick each other for, well, the obvious reasons, even though they're adjacent.